first of all, I want to thank the grace of heaven, virtue of enlightening masters, mercy of transmitters, and confidence placed by all of you for the opportunity to learn to talk about the topic, the Great Learning, Part 2. We started it almost 3 months ago. Okay. Well, time really flies. It's been almost a month since we were together at Happy Buddha Precious Temple for the class. I hope every one of you is doing very well, and I hope the week goes well for all of you, that Tao is in your heart and your Buddha nature is with you all the time. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to start this topic. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go through. We're going to review a little bit of last class, which is chapter 1. I think I'm going to skip the sutra of the main text. You should have the handouts, and I believe most of you would have to memorize the sutra or the main text of Great Learning. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to review the 3 objectives, because this is like the 3 objectives, the 8 stages of cultivation, and the 5 progressive techniques. These are like the cream, okay, the cream, the very quintessence of the sutra, of the main text of Great Learning. And as we know, Great Learning is really at the heart of Confucianism. And so, which is why we start talking about the Great Learning before any other 4 books, okay? And if we have time, we're going to also go a little bit, talk a little bit about the fundamentals versus incidental, or its root versus branches, which is an important concept of philosophy in Confucius, in the Great Learning. And finally, we're going to sum up or wrap up this class by sharing the significance of the Great Learning. Okay, so the Great Learning in Chinese is say 大学. It's like, big learning. So what does that mean exactly? I think we talked about this last time. So this big, as you see how I kind of, put them, the 2 components separate and then put them back again together. Okay, the first part is a man, and then the second part, which is the horizontal red line, which is 1, and we all have received the blessing. We know what that 1 refers to. When these 2 put together, these 2 components put together, it means big. It can also mean great. It can also mean something very, significant, something of prominence. Okay, so it means when a person or a man receives or gets 1, he or she becomes great. Okay, we know that this one is the same as our true nature or our Buddha nature, and as the 6 PeiDe said in Platform Sutra, our Buddha nature is infinite, okay? It's so powerful. It has everything. It has all the wisdom, and it's not born, and it does not, go. And it's already, very tranquil and very still. And it can also, with this Buddha nature, it gives rise to all kinds of dharmas. We can say all kinds of convenient techniques that we need to go by in our life, or we need to go by in work, or now for us when we are helping propagating the Tao, or transforming people, transforming the world. Okay, so this 大学, it means really to learn to be great, to learn to, as we know in the three objectives, to manifest our Buddha nature and also to help others understand their Buddha nature, be aware of their Buddha nature, and also restore or allow their Buddha, the light within, to shine through. Okay, so again, these are the three objectives, or sometimes some translated as the guiding principles, I would say, of a person's life, or it can be, in one's journey. As we will know that this great learning is the first book that one must read when the person wants to seriously cultivate. It's like a must read. It sets the tone for the cultivation. It also gives us a sense of purpose, gives us the direction. So this book is like a North Star. Okay, it's like our internal compass. Okay, so the first objective of the three objective is to be aware of, to understand that we have this inherent bright virtue, or we say Buddha nature. We need to be aware of that, and we also need to do something to manifest it. So this is the process of cultivating, because through all the reincarnation, there are some cloudings, covering up our Buddha nature, and we need to remove, layers after layers of all this, clouds, or you may call it defilements, so that, it's going to be just so bright, as it always is. Okay, so we have to light up the Buddha light within us, and this is one aspect. The other aspect is to also inspire others to make a fresh start or to restore their Buddha nature. Okay, now this others actually carries two meanings. Okay, there are two implications. The first is, of course, people around us, people who we cross our path with, maybe, for example, at school or at work, or maybe in a social circle, or it can be just, we set our foot in. We might come across someone, in the street, and to strike up some conversation, and maybe find out that we have a lot in common. And so that's someone we can also try to make an impact, or try to bring to learn and receive the blessing. Okay, there's another implication. The other, it can also mean the sentient beings. Okay, all the attributes, although some of the attributes are not so good, the attributes within us. Okay, so it could mean what? Our bad habit, the three poisons, our attachments, our improper thoughts. So these are the others that we also need to try to transform, try to help correct, so all the sentient beings, all the other significant others in us, can also be in harmony. And so we have a holistic body that's living in the Tao. Okay. And about this, the second part, inspire others to restore their Buddha nature. This is also part of our mission as White Era cultivators. Remember, the the reason or the fact that we can receive the Tao is because of the, this special timing, and because of the predecessors of the virtuous, enlightened masters who took their vows to help transform this world. For example, our holy teacher, the 18th and the 18th patriarch and the 18th matriarch, who are incarnations of Holy Teacher, and Yue Hui Bodhisattva. They also vow to help bring all this, heavenly children back to the absolute heaven. And we are very fortunate to be, their disciple or their, followers. And so we need to take it upon us to help them fulfill their vows by helping all people around us, people who we have affinity with. Okay. And then, so together we are going to arrive, after we are able to do both, we are able to arrive at a state of perfection. This perfection is not only us as an individual, but also the society as a whole. Okay, imagine if a big chunk of the society are still struggling, that there are still a lot of problems. Do you think we can live peacefully? Do you think we can still be happy? No, right? So we need to, when we cultivate, we need to have the whole community, to have the whole society in our mind. So we are not cultivate just for our own goodness, okay? Because that's not enough. Just as Confucius also said, you don't want to enter a state or a country that's very chaotic, and you don't want to live in a place or a state that's very dangerous. So we need to help together, help bring about a place or a society of harmony, order, and peace. Okay, but again, arrive at a state of perfection. Actually, this is a continuous and ongoing process. Unless we really reach the Anattara Samyap Sambodhi, that's the perfect enlightenment. Otherwise, every day we are still learning to be better. So today we are better than than us yesterday, and tomorrow we have to strive to be better than us today. Okay, and then the 8 stages of you know in in the cultivation or in bringing about a peaceful world. Okay, so the first one, it goes from, actually very fundamental, the very root or the very essential to, a very grand goal or prospect. Okay, so it starts with, the first one, get rid of attachments, a delusional egotism, and then the second one is attain the truth or get to the truth. And then third one, have sincere attitude or be sincere in our mind, heart and mind. And number 4 is to set straight our heart and mind. It means to correct our problems or our faults so that we have the proper view, we have the proper understanding of everything, proper knowledge, proper mindfulness. Okay, this is kind of part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, so after we have done the first 4 steps, then we can say we are cultivating, or we are a well-cultivated person. Okay, and then from this, we kind of extend outwards towards our family. Now we guide or lead our family to order, unity, and harmony, and then still wider or in a broader spectrum. Okay, that's to govern a country well, and then, finally, to bring peace and order to the world. But later, I'm going to talk a little bit more about these 8 stages. Well, from these 8 stages, we can kind of understand that actually a harmonious society starts with the cultivation of a person. Okay, and the cultivation of a person starts with the first 4 stages. So the root are the first 4, you can say the first 5 stages, and the last 3, they are like the natural logical results of what the five previous 5 steps. Okay, these are just like we're going through the list. I'm going to go into some detail later. Okay, so remember, if each of us individually does not cultivate ourselves properly, it's unimaginable that we will have an orderly society or a harmonious world. Okay, so we have to. The first 5 steps are the root, the essentials. Okay, now, first one, getting rid of attachment. I think we went through some of this last time, but I'm going to just quickly, run through this. So actually, it means to extinguish all kind of inexhaustible affliction. Okay, so this is actually one of the 4 immeasurable minds. Oh, no, 4 great grand vows. One of the 4 grand vows. Okay, so we want to extinguish, to terminate all kinds of suffering, dukkha, we say affliction here. Yeah, so if we still have all this affliction, then there's no talking of cultivation, and less alone that we'll be able to arrive at a state of enlightenment. But why do we have this affliction? Because we have, the attachments. Okay, and the attachment, they come in tangible forms such as material things. They also come in non-tangible forms, and these are the fame, title, power, desire, temper, ignorance, pride, distrust, and bias, etc. Okay, yeah. So that's why in the Great Learning, it says that we have to be very cautious of the mind object. The mind object actually, it means, those you can say obstacles, the attachments that's giving us or causing us all the sufferings. And if we are still caught up in all these sufferings, then we'll never be able to achieve to rise above, the reincarnation, and we'll never be able to really have a clear understanding of the universe, of why we are here in this world. Okay. So one proper thought will subject us to reincarnation. So that's why in our Buddha nature class, we have to always practice, let go of all affinities and do not have a single thought arise. Yeah, because we still have all these, delusional thoughts, the improper thoughts. However, on the other hand, when we always have the proper thought, by proper thought, I mean that our thoughts stem out of our Buddha nature. It arise from our Buddha nature, from all this proper understanding. Then it's going to elevate us to the land of peace and purity. Okay, now the second step is attain the truth. Okay, yeah, because if we don't understand what the truth really is, then problem is then we don't know how how to really, live this life, and we can say how to, cultivate, to bring out our true nature. I guess I have to kind of hurry up. So Holy Teacher said, Tao is the truth, the principle. But if we are not clear about what the truth is, then what do we base our cultivation on? So to attain the truth is very important. Okay, but what is exactly the truth that we talk about here? It means that it's in line with our Buddha nature. Okay, so it means everything that's related to our conscience, to a proper view, proper thought, and proper awareness. Okay, every thought that's associated with, revealing or manifesting our Buddha nature. So everything that has other sentient beings' well-being uh, in our mind. Okay, yeah. So when we know the truth, okay, then we have proper goals in life. So we'll not be pursuing all the fame or social status, power, or materials, pleasure. Okay, now be sincere in our mind and thinking. This is from the Doctrine of Min. It says sincerity underlines or permeates everything from beginning to end. So it's always there, okay? Without sincerity, there exists nothing. So if a person does not have sincerity, then whatever he does or she does is, in vain. It's useless. Heaven is being is when we talk about heaven or we talk about a Tao, it's always, sincerity is always it's always there, right? How the heaven or the earth reacts to, whatever happens, it's just very truthful and just very natural. There's no deceitful things. It just react, as it is without any what we call subjective, maybe some subjective mindsets. Okay, now in the Doctrine of the Min, it also says a person of utmost sincerity is like an immortal. Okay, he's capable of inferring the development of things or situation. So a person with the utmost sincerity has the power of a divine being. You can almost say the person has the superpower. Okay, yeah. And in this great learning, I think it's the I forgot which chapter 6. Yeah, chapter 6. It says, being sincere is making our mind. Making our mind sincere means there's no self-deception. We loathe evil as you loathe evil as you loathe stench, the bad smell. Love goodness as you love beauty. So this is being true to ourselves, to the self. Okay. And a person of high morality watches himself when he's alone. Okay. So the true sincerity is that a person who still conducts himself properly, even there's no one watching. So that's being, true virtue, being, true morality. Okay, have to kind of rush now. Okay, now the next part is to rectify the mind. Okay, it means that we have to correct our faults so that we can have a proper mind or mindfulness. Okay. As I said earlier, and as we all know, we all come through cycles of reincarnations, and all this time we build up something not so proper, not so, desirable. And so this cultivation is about getting rid of all this bad habits, bad attachments, bad temper, or we have differentiating thoughts about people. We judge people. We sometimes we are close to people who may not be virtuous just because they do some favor to us. This is not true. That's not right. Okay, so that's something we have to correct. Okay, the rectifying the mind also means it means conducting ourselves with integrity. Okay, yeah, so that our conducts line up with our virtues. I'm sorry, there's some mistake, a typo here. Okay, so whatever we do has to reflect our virtue. Okay, they have to align with each other. So it's what we often talk about, walking the talk, not talking the talk. Okay. Now here is the line from the Great Learning. The cultivation of the person lies in rectifying the mind. So what does that mean? It means when we are hungry, we cannot conduct ourselves properly. When frightened, we cannot be correct. When there's something we desire, then we cannot be correct. Okay, when there's something we are anxious about, we cannot be correct. When the mind is not present, we look, but we do not see, which means we are not living in the present, in the moment. We listen, but we do not hear. We eat, but we don't know the taste of food. Okay, so this all means because our mind is not proper. Okay, it's not in line with our virtue. Then whatever we do, it just not give us the desired result. Okay. So this is, to correct our mindset is very important, because if this is not taken care of, we are not taking care of the root, okay? When we don't have a very healthy root, how can we expect to have healthy and strong branches or leaves? Okay, so we have to have very healthy root so that the branches and the leaves will thrive. Okay, now the next one is harmonize. Actually, I skipped the cultivate part because be sincere. I'm sorry, to get rid of attachment, to attain the truth, to be sincere, and to rectify the mind. These are all part of the cultivations. Of course, if we want to go into details, there's a lot more, but I think we just let go of that. So to harmonize one's family, okay? So this is a line. This is a line from the Great Learning. It says, there has never been a case when a man could not educate his own family and yet could educate others. I'm sure we all agree, right? Yeah. If we try to teach other people what to do, although we do not really have a very orderly or have family members who are all very proper, no one will be convinced. Okay, so therefore, the superior man perfects the education for the country without leaving his own home. Okay, yeah. So a home is like a small country. Okay, and if each family is well organized, well governed, then we're going to have a very orderly society. Okay. Nowadays we have a lot of problems, and I would say a big part of the problem comes from family, because some of the children, the kids are not properly brought up. So they have very, strange value, and this all translate into their action, into their conducts. And this brought about a lot of chaos and problems and sufferings to society. Okay, so Confucius continues to say, filial piety is the means by which you serve your ruler. Okay, so we are filial to our parents. Okay, likewise, we also have to be filial to the leader of a country or to other elders. Fraternal submission is the means by which you serve your elders, and compassion is the means by which you deal with everyone. So this is talking about this whole paragraph is talking about the external functions or the external results of the cultivation of the individual. Okay, because of this, we also practice all this virtue. Okay, filial piety, fraternal. Actually, submission is not a good word here. I would say fraternal. I figure out later. Okay, next one. Okay, the family, to harmonize one's family again is the family can also means, those sentient beings that's within us. Okay, so we have to also try to, correct them, try to make them, work in concertedly. Okay, so try to harmonize our inner heart. And let me go back to this. Okay, when we say we are governing a country, some people may say, oh, I'm not an officer, or I'm not an official or leader of a country. How would I be able to govern a country? I'm not given the opportunity. Okay, but here I would say for every one of us, we can see our workplace or maybe any organization we are associated with as like a country. Yes. So when we cultivate ourselves, we are a better person. And maybe our transformation, our betterment can inspire other people. We can set an exemplary role for other people so that they also want to follow in our example, in our footsteps. Okay, so that has our cultivation in our good conducts have a rippling effect in the society or in our workplace. So one thing we have to be very, very cautious that, especially we are dog cultivators, we have to really set up that, exemplary role, because we don't want people to think, oh, he is cultivating, and yet look at how he is behaving, how he's treating people, how he is, taking care of the job. It's not even as good as we are. So that's something, a scenario we have to definitely avoid. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now these are the main things I want to talk about today, the 5 step-by-step efforts. I would say this is like a sequence, or I can say it's like a mental preparation. Okay, 5步功夫. This just how it's translated into Chinese, but actually it talks about the progression of our mentality or of mindset to help us achieve our goal. Okay, and I would say this technique echoes the 3 non-flow studies of Buddhism, of the Buddhist teaching. Okay, the 3 non-flow studies is the precepts. We know precepts, right? Okay, and samadhi precepts, it means that, more or less like what we need to stay away from. Okay, things, all the taboos, right? The forbidden things. Okay, yeah, so actually it kind of echoes, get rid of all the desires, and rectify our mind, and follow the principles. Okay, and the second one is the samadhi. Okay, samadhi is the proper concentration. Okay, proper concentration. And then the prajna is the wisdom. Okay, 戒定慧, the 三无漏学 in the Buddhist teaching. Okay, so these are the 5 steps. First one, once we are clear with our goals, our minds are settled and focused. When our minds are settled, calmness at heart follows. To that calmness, there will succeed a tranquil repose. I can say a tranquil, peace of mind. Okay, in that state of tranquility, we can deliberate or think clearly. And finally, with this clear thinking or deliberation, we are sure to attain our goal. Okay, now the step one. Okay, so once we are clear with our goals, our minds are settled and focused. Okay, so this no, okay, the 知, okay, this character here means to know, to understand. Okay, but it also has a more proactive meaning, right? Take charge. Okay, take charge of our destiny, to have our sense of purpose in our mind. Okay, in China, in the past, the ruler of a county is called ZhiShan. Okay, ZhiShan, it means what? The person in this position has to know everything, all the affairs, the governing, all the regulations, its people of the county, okay, or 知府, So this has a very proactive meaning. 知子, that it means that we have to be very clear about our goal, our objective. Okay, now 止 here, it can means to stop, okay, to put rest. It can also mean to, like arrive at, okay? As you can see here, I should have put this on the top as the first bullet point. It means put stop, to put to rest. Okay, in order for us to have our, proper goals, we need to first get rid of all this, to put all these bad things to rest, okay? Otherwise, all of this is going to keep us busy here. Okay, when we are always caught up in all this kind of thoughts. And when we do that, then we become very blind to the truth. Okay, this word here means blind. Okay, and then finally, that's going to lead us to a state of confusion, okay, or being lost. Okay, so with this still at play, we'll never be able to cultivate, we'll never be able to attain perfect enlightenment. Okay, so this is the first meaning, and the other meaning is, actually in Great Learning, it also talk about 知. For example, as a sovereign, or as a leader, or as a father, as a son, as a friend, what your conduct should be, or what kind of quality, what kind of good attributes you should portray. Okay, for example, as the leader, you should have what? Benevolence, right? And as a father, you also should be very kind and very caring, right? And as a son, you should profess filial piety, also caring for the parents, okay, the elders. And as a friend, you should display the quality of trust and sincerity. Okay, yeah, so now we know our goal is what? To arrive. Okay, the third meaning is arrive at, or rest at, or get to the portal of transmission. It's the ultimate goodness in us, the Buddha nature, the one, okay? And so our goal is, on one hand, manifest our bright virtue. On the other is to help others restore their bright virtue, okay? So when we can do that, because we have a goal setting, right? So this is very in line with, our time now. We often talk about goal setting because with a goal, we stand a much better chance of, fulfilling our life, of fulfilling our mission, right? So with this goal, we have this benefit. We'll be focused and settled. Okay, now the step 2 is when our minds are settled, okay, then calmness and heart will follow, okay. Now let's look at this word 定, okay, which means settle. It can also mean stability. It can also mean unwavering, okay, unwavering. Okay, and when we look at this parts, which is the top part of this word, okay, it's like house, right? It's like the roof of a house. Okay. So when we are in a house, especially now we are in a house of one, then we are in a Tao. Okay. Then we have unwavering objective, unwavering purpose in this life. And so when we are settled, then nothing will stir our thoughts. Okay. We'll always be very tranquil. And this there'll be nothing that will lead us to, wander around, sometimes our minds goes everywhere. We are like a galloping horse. Yeah. But knowing our ultimate goal, then we'll be focused on this goal. And we know this is a grand goal. So we are not going to let anything else stand in the way. Okay. Now with this, we're going to have tranquility or calmness or stillness. Okay, that leads up to the next step. Well, this should be 3. I'm sorry. That's the step 3. So to the calmness, there will succeed a peace of mind. Okay, so this is Jing. Okay, Jing actually it can kind of fall into 4 different state. Okay. The first one is Jing, calmness, means very calm, very quiet, okay, very tranquil, okay. And then the second one is, this is, with 2 dots here, it's like water, right? It means purity and clarity of our heart and mind. When we have this first one, okay, then we will have this one, okay, the clarity and purity of heart and mind. And then what follow will be respectfulness, okay. Yeah, when we can do this, then it means that we are in line with our conscience. We are in line with the truth, and naturally we'll be respectful. We always treat people with courtesy, and there is always a grace with us. Okay. Yeah. And when we can do this, then we can align with the energy of the universe. Lately, I've been so busy, but I feel being tranquil whenever I can, when I'm not thinking about, work or anything that I need to set my mind on. When I have a moment that I don't have to do anything, I try to be tranquil, try to let go of thoughts. And I think that really replenish my energy. And this is how I can survive in such, a hectic schedule. And finally, this is the Jing. Okay, that's another, also the same pronunciation. It means the stability and harmony and peace. Okay, when we are able to do the first 3, then we will have the stability, okay, the harmony. Okay, so this is a line from the classics of purity and stillness. 清净经 it says, when we are constantly pure and tranquil, the energy of the heaven and earth will come to us. 就是the Chinese, okay, 能人常清净，天地悉皆归. And I do have, I think this line really stuck with me, and this is how I try to practice, in my daily life, and I think it's really very helpful. Okay, now with this, this calmness or this tranquility, then we have the ease and the peace of mind, which leads up to the next step. Okay, so in that state of tranquility, we can deliberate, we can think clearly. Okay, so on here, again, notice this also has the part which means the roof of a house. Okay, so and the lower part is the female. Okay, imagine a house with maybe a mother or a wife. It gives us a sense of a settlement or serenity, right? When we are settled, then there's no, we call the thoughts thinking or, the ups and downs, our mind is not like a roller coaster. Okay. Everything is still. It's just like, a pound or, it's so still that it looks like a mirror. It's going to reflect things very clearly. Okay. And that's what we need, right? We need to be able to look at things, very clearly from the outside to the inside, the very core of the thing or the matter. Okay. All right. Now, after we have this, mental peace or ease of mind, then we are able to think clearly. Okay. So look at this picture. I think I like it. This, I don't know, it's a Photoshop, but imagine, this standing in the ocean front with, maybe some wind. It has got to have some good balance. Okay, now next one is 虑而后能得. With deliberation, we are sure to attain our goals. Okay, so 虑 here, the Chinese meaning literally means, to think, to to ponder, to deliberate, to contemplate. Okay, but interesting about this is like it's composed of two parts. Okay, here the first part, the top part is like a horse. No, I'm sorry, a tiger. And then the second part is our heart. Is a heart. Okay, so it means what we have. We have the determination or the forcefulness of a tiger in our action. And our action is in line with our heart, with our objective, with our intention. Okay, so it means our action and our heart, our value, our faith, our belief, they are in line. Okay, so this means that we are able to achieve our goals. And remember, because of the previous steps, now at this step, when we think and whatever we think, it actually is based on our true nature, our true self. And so this is surely taking us to our, goal, to our destination, or to the other shore, right? Okay, so the result is the attainment of our goals. Okay, so this is my not so sufficient explanation or understanding of the steps, the 5 steps, cultivation or our mental preparation for the achievement of our goals. Mhm. Sorry. Okay, now there's also another important points that's mentioned in the first chapter in the main text of the Great Learning. It's talking about the fundamentals and the roots, fundamentals and roots versus the incidental, or say the more the ends, okay, or the branches or the leaves. Okay, imagine a tree that has very thriving branches and leaves. Then it usually means it comes from a very healthy and very strong and very deep roots, right? Okay. But nowadays, a lot of times we are trying to fix something, maybe fixing the branches, some of the more superficial problems, when actually we need to pay attention, we need to do work on the fundamentals and the roots. Okay, yeah. So that's also very profound teaching in this the Great Learning. Here I'd like to share 2 lines from this, the Great Learning. It says, things have their fundamentals and incidentals. Every happening has an end and a beginning. understanding the order of priority brings us close to the Tao. Okay, so this is what I just mentioned. When the root is taken good care of, we are definitely going to have very thriving, prosperous branches and leaves. So in Confucius' belief, the fundamental or the root of a harmonious society is what? It's really the cultivation of each individual's. Only every one of us cultivates ourselves well can we bring about a world of great harmony. It's like it's not possible. One is not possible without the other. So the root is something that we have to really take care of. And for us, our root is our Buddha nature, but we still need to cultivate to restore our Buddha nature. So we need to cultivate. So we display, the five constants, the eight virtue, right? The Noble Eightfold Path, and also what else? The 10 wholesome deeds, right? All of this, also the 6 parameters, you name them, all the good virtues in us. Without each of us showing and acting on our virtue, our Buddha nature, it's not possible that we have, this world of great harmony. Okay, so this is what the second line is saying. It's impossible to have a situation wherein the fundamentals are in disorder and the incidental or the branches, when the root is not strong or it's ailing, the root is ailing or maybe, rotting, is it possible to have, very green leaves and very healthy branches? That's not possible, right? Okay, I guess I just want at this point to sum up the significance of the great learning. Okay, it's it's very fascinating. I mean, this book was written in about 5th or 6th BC, and now it still has a lot of relevance to our life, to our times today. The mindfulness, the goal setting, that, each individual can contribute to the whole big picture. Okay, these are very, they are like forever, the idea is forever new, but it was brought up by Confucius and his disciple, in the 5th BC. And it's so applicable, whatever Confucius teaches in a great learning is still very practicable in our everyday life. Okay. Here it says, goodness starts with all of us, then it's spreading outward. So our personal cultivation is the root to a prosperous society. So Confucius talks about not just, governing, but he talks about we need to build a system where everyone can do good and everyone can thrive. So when everyone are virtuous and they are all progressing, then we are definitely going to have a very progressive, a very society that's on the path of prosperity and ever growth. And this is the great learning. It's also like a roadmap of our journey in life. Okay, if you have time, or some of you might have already read the great learning, not just the main text, but also the other commentary chapters. Then you know they provide a lot of guidelines for us to conduct ourselves in life. Okay, and also it gives us a sense of purpose in life. Okay, the mindfulness. Okay, and it shows us that we are all a part of the bigger holistic entity. Okay, so don't take slightly what we can do each individually. Okay, when we this is what we call the synergy, right? Each of us does something good, and then 1 plus 1 does not equal 2. It's more than 2. Okay, maybe 10 or 100, and then also, Confucius also talks about, align with the law of the universe. It's how the nature is working, it's running. If we can, align ourselves with that, then we also get the inner peace. We also will be in line with our Buddha nature, and then our conducts will be always proper, and we can, achieve our goals of, arriving at the other shore. Okay. Actually, when we are living in the Tao, when we really practice what Confucius shared with us in the Great Learning, then one of the most, I would say, the immediate benefit is that we will all be more joyful, will be more peaceful, and we'll also be very content, even if we may live a very simple life, just like his disciple Yan Hui. He lives in a very rundown neighborhood. Every day he eats only a bowl of meal, and he only, drink water, but he's still very happy, right? Okay. And lastly, a very important part is that when we do follow the teachings of Confucius in this great learning. Okay, we are talking about great learning now. Of course, there are also other sutras that or holy revelations, holy scriptures that we can read. But this great learning is also a book that will put us on a path to divinity. It can also help us transcend this reincarnation, transcend the cycle of samsara. Okay, and it can finally, hopefully, we can all, turn this mundane world into a land of light, joy, peace, and purity. So together we arrive at Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Okay, I guess this wraps up my sharing today. I ask for forgiveness of Buddhas and saints if I say anything wrong. And also, I ask for the mercy of our transmitters. And also, please correct me, all of you, later after class. Thank you all.